Hello. It's currently 11:30 at night because I just got back from the cinema after watching Fantastic Four: The First Step. So I'm going to be giving my opinion on the entire movie in this video. So major spoiler warning, we're going to be going into the deep dark crevices of what I liked, of what I disliked, of the small scenes that played after the credits, the post-credit scenes. I couldn't remember the name. So if you haven't seen Fantastic Four: First Steps and you don't want any spoilers, because trust me, before I saw it, I am a spoiler freak. I do not want spoilers. I was literally off of TikTok and Instagram and anything you can think of for like 3 days before I watched the movie because I just didn't want a single spoiler. So if you're one of those people, I'll give you a second to click away. Okay, now for all of you people who have seen the movie, let's just dive right into it. So, first of all, I'm just going to give you my straight rating on the movie, what I thought. I thought the movie was a 9.5 out of 10. I know some people really don't like points because they're like, come on, just give it a 9 or a 10. But honestly, I couldn't give it a 9 because it wasn't a 9, and I couldn't give it a 10 because it wasn't the perfect movie. I've only ever seen one perfect movie, and it was called Nobody, and it has a sequel coming out in August, literally not even a month away. So probably going to see that in cinema. Talk about that when it comes out, but we're not talking about that right now. We're talking about my 9.5 rating on Fantastic Four: First Steps. So I thought Fantastic Four: First Steps was incredible. Spectacular, as I messaged my sister after she texted me asking me how it was. Spectacular. 9.5 out of 10 for sure. If you're wondering why there's not another 0.5 on there to make it the perfect movie, it's because the amount of action in the movie. There was only a handful of action scenes, maybe 2 or 3 action scenes, and they weren't terrible. Like, the entire one at the end maybe lasted like 5 minutes or so, 5-7 minutes, and it was them fighting Galactus. So if you might be here and you haven't seen the movie and you're just here for spoilers, then here you go. So just for those who don't know, if you're one of those people, the moral of the story is that the script is that Reed and Susie have a baby, and then Silver Surfer comes, who is played by, I don't remember the woman's name. I'll put a picture up of her now, but very good, very good. Anyway, she works for Galactus, as she did in the second Fantastic Four movie, and she's basically come down to warn Earth that Galactus is going to be coming up and gobbling up the Earth for breakfast. So Fantastic Four are like, right, this can't happen, we can't let this happen, we're going to space, and we're going to have a talk with Galactus. We're not going to fight him yet. We're not going to try and kill him immediately. We don't even know what he is, what he looks like. We don't know if he's human, so we're just going to talk to the guy. They go up there. My God, Galactus is one of the coolest looking characters in this movie that I have seen. The Galactus in this movie is one of the coolest characters I've seen in the entirety of anything I've ever seen in my life. Oh my God, I probably won't be able to find a picture of him. If I do, here, it may even be a shit picture, I don't know, but he looks so cool. He looks incredible. So the basis of the story is they talk to Galactus and they're like, yeah, you can't destroy our Earth. We do not want you to. And Galactus is like, okay, the only thing I want is your baby. So Reed and Susie had a baby. Susie was pregnant, and Galactus was basically trying to make the deal that if they sacrificed their baby, he would leave Earth. He would not eat Earth. So obviously they didn't agree to this. So they ran. There was a little action scene there between Johnny and Silver Surfer, and Ben, I suppose he done something. He tackled her into a wall. So they got in the ship. Susie gave birth, and that was kind of it. They had this long chase scene with Silver Surfer where they flew her into a black hole, and then all's well as ends well. And basically from there, the story goes on that Galactus now has to try and take the baby for himself rather than it being given up to him as a kind of sacrifice. So it's a very good storyline. It is. I have no problems with the storyline. Like I said, the only problem I have with it is the action. The way that they made Galactus come down to Earth, the whole plan that the Fantastic Four team came up with was genius. Probably the perfect plan. The whole idea was to use the baby as bait, which is kind of the only thing that they could do. They use the baby as bait, Galactus comes, and then they send him into a black hole by linking up all these different portals that they were originally going to use to teleport Earth from one place to somewhere that Galactus couldn't get them. It would take him millions of years to get to them, so that would be enough time to live. So they used those same portals to basically make a black hole and suck Galactus into the black hole. But the whole, like I mentioned, maybe 7 minutes of action from Galactus trying to get the baby, it was pretty good. There wasn't a lot of fighting because Galactus is like 500 feet tall, and the tallest character of the Fantastic Four is probably Ben, standing at like 7 feet tall. So huge difference there. And they didn't use their powers a lot. I think the most you got was Ben threw this like big oil truck at Galactus, and then Johnny lit it on fire, and Galactus didn't even react. Like, he didn't even try and brush it off or look at it. He just kept walking because he's just a beast. And then you had a scene where Reed, or Mr. Fantastic, kind of climbed up Galactus, and I can't remember exactly what he done. He like stabbed him in the back, and all this kind of lava started to pour out of him. Done a little bit of damage, so Galactus grabbed him and he was stretching him, and it's like if you've ever seen these things, these little yellow sticky men. I had like hundreds when I was growing up, and you can just stretch them. That's what he was doing to Reed. He was just stretching him like one of those toys. It was pretty good. Anyway, Reed got saved by Johnny and Ben, who Galactus threw Ben into space. Johnny saved him, and then they rode right into Galactus's jaw, made him drop Reed. All that jazz. So by the end of it, Galactus was this close from getting away with the baby, and then Sue like went Super Saiyan mode, you know, like something out of Dragon Ball Z, and she just used her powers to the max to physically push Galactus backwards so they could activate the black hole, and then Galactus ended up getting sucked into the black hole before going in with the baby. Obviously, Reed saved the baby, so it was a very good scene. That whole entire thing, it was very enjoyable. I didn't take my eyes off the screen, not even for a second. Don't even think I blinked, but that's a bit of a stretch. Now, there are 2 post-credit scenes in this movie. I'll talk about one of them right now, but I want to leave one of them kind of until the end of the video. So you're gonna have to wait for that one because it is good. Not gonna lie, it is good. So I am one for I love end credit scenes. That's one of the things I mostly go to the cinema for. Obviously for the movie, but I'm most excited to see the credit scenes. The scene after the credits. So the very last one, like if you sat past the first credit scene through the entire credits to the very end of the movie, it was really bad. Like, it wasn't awful. I guess there was just nothing. It was just this like real life TV, and on it was playing the old Fantastic Four cartoon intro, and then it just turned off. So that was just like a little goofy one. Like I said, I'll talk about the other one at the end of the video, but the movie overall, everything like I already mentioned was perfect. I think the acting from the actors and actresses was perfect. I think the characters themselves looked perfect. I like how they gave Ben a beard. I'm pretty sure he had a beard in the comic, so giving him a beard kind of near the end of the movie, I think that was a very nice touch, personally. And like I already mentioned, I thought the story was spot on, so definitely a 9.5. The best Fantastic Four, I'll give you a quick rating. The worst Fantastic Four movie is the 2015 remake. The second worst one is the first Silver Surfer one. Or let's say the first Silver Surfer one, the first time you see Silver Surfer. Second one is the original Fantastic Four. And then the best Fantastic Four is this one, Fantastic Four First Step. So if you haven't seen it and you're somehow watching this movie and you love spoilers, I can't relate, I apologize, but I would definitely recommend this movie to anyone in the world, even if you're not a superhero fan. I don't think you have to be a Marvel fan to be able to enjoy this movie. I feel like it was a movie for anyone, all shapes, all sizes, all minds, all facial hair, all anything, all clothes, anything. But it is now time. I will just quickly talk about the final, or not the final end credit scene, but one of the end credit scenes, because it gave me chills shivering from my tippy toes to the tallest hair on my head. We got Doom. We saw Doom. This is the first time we're seeing Doom before Avengers Doomsday, other than obviously the original Dooms, but Robert Downey Jr.'s Doom, which I don't know if it was actually him in the costume in this end credit scene, but basically the end credit scene was Sue was sitting there with her baby. Well, not really her baby. He's like 5 by this time, or 4 by this time. And she's reading him a book, and he's like, oh, I want the other book. So she gets up, she goes to get him the other book, and she comes back, and she hears noises, so she activates her little power in her hand. And the camera just slowly pans around the corner, and you can see the back of Doom. He's holding his mask, and he's holding Sue's baby, or the kid. I keep saying baby, but because he was a baby throughout the entire movie, but near the end he was like 4 years old. So he was holding his mask in one hand, and Sue's toddler in the other hand, and that's where it cut off. And it was just chills. And then after it obviously said, Fantastic Four, or the Fantastic Four will return in Avengers Doomsday. Chills. I'm so excited for Avengers Doomsday. I'm actually going to Google right now because my mum asked me when it's out, and I said 2027, which I feel like I've heard that somewhere. It could be completely wrong. We might not even have one, but let me look real quick. Ooh. So a lot earlier than I thought. A lot earlier than I thought. So it says here the original date was supposed to be May 1st, 2026, but it's been pushed back to December 18th, 2026. So over a year, just like a year and a half away till we get Avengers Doomsday. I did also read somewhere that half of the Fantastic Four scenes have already been filmed for Avengers Doomsday, because obviously they're going to be in it. So, which just I'll try and make it as simple as possible for people to understand. Let's say the Fantastic Four have 8 scenes in Avengers Doomsday. 4 of them have been recorded. There you go. I don't feel like I need to specify that, but just in case you were confused. But anyway, there you go. That was my thoughts on Fantastic Four First Steps. 9.5. Definitely such an incredible movie. Spectacular, as already said. I would have gave it a 10, like I already mentioned, if they had added some more action, some more fight scenes. I want to see Ben punching. The most, he didn't really fight. The most we got from him in this movie was him running through a couple of pillars to knock a building onto Galactus. And that was okay, I guess. It was clobbering time then, I suppose. But anyway, I don't need to blabber anymore. I've already been blabbering for a while now. The movie is definitely incredible, and I'm just going to keep talking about it just because how incredible it is. So I'm just going to cut myself up here. That's me. I'm out of here. Bye.